Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Today I'll be working on my Willow Leaf Ficus. This tree came from Chris Henry, the bonsai guru, and I bought it in fall of 2018. It was probably twice the height it is now, and I pruned it back, I repotted it, did a lot of root pruning. I have a playlist for the tree. The link for it will be in the description down below if you want to go back and see how the tree was developed to its present state. Here's a shot of the canopy of the tree, and you can see on top it's quite a bit denser on top than it is out at the edges. So today I want to thin out the top of the tree, kind of balancing the foliage so it's equal density all over the crown of the tree. I'm looking at the tree from the front view now. So I've got my main trunk kind of comes up quite vertical. I've got a nice strong side branch or trunk coming up to the left-hand side. I have a more vertical one coming to the right-hand side. And I see a bit of a problem right in here. I see that branch dividing into three branches pretty well all from one point, and it looks a little crowded. Here's a look at that area. So if I hold some of these branches out of the way, right here at this junction, you can see the thick upright trunk comes up, divides into 1, 2, and the back one 3 branches. So this one here, the one coming up the middle, it goes very vertical. It doesn't flow outwards from the center of the tree. I think if I were to prune one of them off, it would be this one, that more vertical one, keeping the thicker one that comes out the back and the one that comes out to the right-hand side. Normally, I would take out the thicker branch so you get a bit of taper, so it comes thick and then tapers down to thinner branches and thinner as it goes to the edge of the crown. However, that one coming up isn't really the greatest branch. I think in this case, I'm better to keep the thicker one because it fans out from the center of the tree. It doesn't kind of come forward and parallel with the main trunk line. So I think that's the problem with that one branch. So I've got to take it out. So here I go. All right, I'm coming in here, trying to isolate where it starts. So right down here, the scissors are in place. And off it goes. Just like that. Here's a look at the tree now from the front. It still looks quite nice. There is, a bit of a spot missing here in the canopy, but that'll fill in with better branching later on. I'm going to clean up that area now. I noticed on this trunk line, there were a lot of branches kind of facing in towards the center of the tree that are coming off of this major upright branch. So I've got to clean that out. So there's one branch down low coming straight towards the front of the tree. I'll get rid of that. There's one growing up on the inside here. That should come out. There's a couple of dead branches, smaller ones in here I can clean out. There's a dead one here I can take out. There's a dead one in here I can remove. Now, over here, I've got a multiple number of branches coming from one spot here. So that has to be corrected also. Here's the area I was talking about. Here's the branch I want to keep. And I've got 2 branches here that are coming from the same spot, so they both have to go. And I'll prune those more flush. There's an old stub here I can remove. Dried up branch there. Get rid of a few dead branches here. And that area is cleaned up nicely. You're seeing the front of the tree again. So I'm going to stay on this branch. I'm just taking a dead one off there. There is one growing up the top of the branch. I'll take that off. Another one here growing straight up. I'll remove that one. That'll get more light to these branches too. And then from the tip of this branch, I have 3 branches growing, and I don't want to keep the one that comes upright. I'll take that off. And I'll keep my 2 horizontal ones like that. The rest of the branches are quite reasonable. They could be thinned at a later date, but for now, I'll keep all that branching on this branch. I'm still at the junction here where I removed that major branch here, the one that was kind of coming forward. So I'm following this branch up, the thicker one up the back, and I've got a branch here. It's a nice branch, but it crosses right over top of the one below it and shades it out. And I also have a branch opposite over here. So I'm going to remove that one just so this branch gets more light, so this one's not shading it out. So off it comes like that. This branch over here is fine. It shades out part of this branch, but this part that it shades out is coming from the top of this branch, so I'll take it off, this one, like that, and I'll just reduce this one back like that. So now both these little branches have full sunlight. I'll continue cleaning up this part of the tree. So I have a branch here, again facing the inside of the tree, so I'll take that out. I have one up top here that's kind of vertical. I don't think I want that. No. So that one's going to come off, the one that's going vertical on the inside of the branch here. So that leaves me with 2 branches. The major trunk divides from 1 into 2 thicker branches here. And they both have a good spot of sunlight. The branches below, I've got a few too many branches in this area. I've got 1, 2, 3 kind of almost ladder branches. So I'm going to do some thinning there. I'm going to pick my best branches based on the front view of the tree. So the one straight out the back, you can't see it from the front view, so I'm going to remove it. It's kind of a useless branch. I'm also going to remove this one. There's 2 branches growing from almost the same spot, and the one out the back, I've got better branches up higher, and this one's a little low. It's too close to the major division down here. So I'm just going to remove that one too. Up higher here, I've got another couple of branches growing right beside each other. One of them has to go. I think it'll be the one on the inside here. So that's gone. I think the rest are okay on that branch. There's one kind of coming towards the inside here, but it's not the worst in the world. It will, I think it'll get shaded out eventually by the canopy, so I'm going to take it off too. It's so important that all the branches get light to keep them nice and healthy and growing well. So now there's just this branch out the back here. I think everything's fine on that one. You can see it here from the side view. Maybe some of these are getting a little thick and shading it out. If I can prune these back, I will. Just take the tips off the branches. That helps kind of thin it out a bit. There's one kind of crossing here. I'm going to remove that one. And I think I'm going to remove this branch tip here. And prune this one back. Like that. And prune this one back. Just kind of lightening those branch tips to get a little more light back here. So this is the back of the tree. It's also a nice view. It's quite nice from the back. So I've got to keep working on these branches, kind of making sure they all get light. That top canopy was getting dense and it was starting to grow long and shading out all the lower branches. So we'll get to this, thinning it out. I'm just getting my lower branch structure kind of sorted out first. So I think there's a dead branch in here. Just trying to, yeah, right here. That part was dead. There's another part here that's dead. So there's a few branches in close to the trunk here that are definitely going to get shaded out by the canopy, so I'm going to prune those off. There's one coming from the top here, I'll prune that back. I think that one on the inside's got to come out. And I've got two branches kind of growing one above each other here. The top one's the stronger one. The bottom one has two little weak branches. I think that one's got to be taken right out. That was the one that had the dead section on top. It's quite a weak branch anyway, so it's coming out like that. A dead branch here I can remove. Prune this one back. Prune this one back. That's about all I can do to that branch. So now I'm coming around the back still. I'm off to this major trunk line or branch coming up here. So I've got to get this all sorted out. There's a branch going up the inside here. I'll take that out. Another one here. Now from the front view, if we go around, there is a dead branch stub coming out the front that I can take off. Like that. Take this one, there's another dead branch here. Take that out. This one's okay here. Another one on the inside, I'll take that out. This lowest branch is fine here. It's getting a little long. I'll just remove the tip like that. Move the tip here. You think? It's not that strong. I'll leave that one. It's not the strongest branch in the world. Take this one off. Okay, let's keep looking at this tree. There's a dead branch here I can remove. And these dead branches, they're just the result of not getting enough light. The weaker branches die out. So I'm just pruning them away. Following this branch line out. It's all looking fairly good. Prune this one back shorter. I'll take this one out. It's getting a little thick up top there. I think this one on the inside's got to come out. Got a couple of branches that are very close to each other here, and I'm trying to decide which one of these to keep. They're both nice. I like them both. That's the trouble. Well, if you like them both, Nigel, keep them both. That's the solution. Coming up to the apex of this branch, I'm going to prune the tip back here. It's a little strong. Here too. And here. And here. That gets that in check. I got a good branch division here, so I can take out the middle one. That. I've got a bit of upright growth here. Take a lot of that off. Well, that's got that branch nicely in check, I think. Let's have a look from the front view again. Well, it's a little more sparse now, but it's better structured for sure. I just got a package delivered, so let's open it up and see what's inside. Oh. Okay, here I go. It's always exciting getting packages. I'm not very good at opening them all. There I go. Okay. Let's see what it is. It's soil sifters. Is that ever cool? Hey, I like that. Nice little size. That's awesome. Thank you. And that is it. Let's see. It's from Scott Winnard. Oh, thanks, Scott. Merry Christmas. Oh, that's awesome. Between that, Tom and Scott, holy, they sure send me a lot of presents. Thanks, guys. Well, that's nice. So let's see what screens it comes with. It's got a coarse screen, a medium, and a fine. So that's awesome. That's really good. That's really nice. Nice size for indoors too. And the greenhouse here, so I don't make too much of a mess. I'm spoiled once again. Thanks, Scott. Merry Christmas. All right, it's back to pruning the Willow Leaf Ficus. So here, this is the front view again. I've got 3 branches coming from one spot here. So again, I've got to pick my best one and remove the other 2. So if I look from the front view, the best one is not this one. It's coming straight towards the viewer, so that one's got to come out. That one's gone. I've got 2 here. One kind of flows upwards nicely and then goes horizontal and sweeps upwards again. A nice flowing branch. The one below kind of goes, the trunk goes up and then it comes off 90 degrees, so I'm going to remove that one. Keeping my more flowing branch. Like that. So that reduces 3 branches down to 1. I'm looking at the trunk line now. So it comes up, single trunk, comes up, divides here into 2 upright trunks, divides here again. This one I come up and then I've got a whirl of branches here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of 5 branches all growing from this one spot. And you can see that I've removed some already, but you can see it's got a bit of a bulge there already. So if I don't remove more of these branches, that bulging will get worse. So I've got to, again, pick my best branches and remove the rest. So I've got this one here that goes parallel with the one below, and it looks quite nice. I think it fills in that area of the canopy quite nicely. I don't think there's anything wrong with that one. These 2, they kind of cross the trunk line of the branch behind. And there's nothing attractive about these branches. They just come out 90 degrees from the trunk. So they are coming off. Doesn't have a nice flow line. Now I've got, these 2 are opposite each other. Again, this one kind of blocks your view of the trunk behind, so I'll remove that one. And then in this area, I've got one out the back, and I've got this one. So I've got to decide, what do I want to do there? Do I want to keep one out the back? It does give a bit of depth to the tree. I think I do. I think I'm going to, it comes from lower than this one. So I think it's quite acceptable. It's maybe getting a little long. I could prune it back a bit. Let me see. Just take a dead branch off there. There's one kind of sticking up here. I'll take that off. And I think the one growing from way in here I'll remove also, keeping my branching out at the tip. I think that looks good. Let's go back to the front view. The last thing I've got to do is I've got to sort out this upper canopy. You can see how dense it is, how many branches there are. So let's get it cleaned out. Just take some dead branches off there. I've got a little weak one here and another one coming from the same spot here. Dead one on top here I'll remove. Do I want that one? I've got kind of a stronger one out the back. I think it's blocking those, so I'll take both of those off. Like that, so you can see this branch behind a little more clearly, at least from this kind of a view. This branch is fine. This one looks fine. Out the back here, I've got a branch coming up. I've got a lower horizontal branch I think I want to take out. Like that. This one sweeps up a little nicer. There's a new branch coming straight out the front here. I'll remove that. I don't want that little branch growing there. That comes out. A lot of branches. There's one growing on the inside here. I'll remove that one. Like that. There's a branch growing in here, a new one. I'm going to clean that one out. It was not a very nice place. It was kind of growing in between these two thicker branches. There's one growing on the inside here. I'll remove that one. Like that. I also have a stub here. Clean that up a bit, like that. Okay. Well, if I follow this branch up now, I've got a nice horizontal branch. I can take the apex off this one. Like that. Dead part here. I can prune this one back to here. Prune this one back to here. On these willow leaf ficuses, I try and always leave some green leaves at the tip. If you take it back to bare wood, the risk factor goes up. You could possibly lose the branch, especially if it's a weaker branch. So I try and always leave some leaves at the tip if I can. So now I'm following this branch line up. I've got one here that kind of doesn't do much. Take that out. I've got one here that kind of fans outward, and then I've got two branches that go kind of vertical, and they're very, very strong. And they're kind of making it very congested in the canopy. I think I'd be better to prune it back to this little one here, and I will. So here I go. Like that. And I'm not sure if I want that one out the back. I don't think I do. No. Oh, it's coming off too. Now, I've got to make a decision here up front. I've got 1, 2, 3 branches. One that kind of comes forward into this area. One right up the middle. I'm going to take the one up the middle off. It's coming straight towards the viewer. And then there's a branch in behind. I think I'll just take this part of it off, keeping these two branches and the one off to the side here. I think that looks better. Now I've got a thicker one out the back. The apex of it kind of comes forward. So I'm wondering if I should prune it back. I have some nice branches fanning out down lower, so I think I've got to take the apex off. So fairly big cut here, so here I go, like that. That shortens that a lot. Then I've got a branch coming forward here. I could remove also, I will. Like that. Getting this apex a little lighter. Now that back branch, I'm going to remove the one here. It's kind of running parallel with this one, so it's coming off. There's one going up the middle I'll get rid of. Well, that really lightens that up. I may, in the future, I may decide one of these branches has to go, but for now, You don't want to lose every option on the tree. I'm not so sure about this one. I'm going to reduce it. Yeah, there may be some more work in here. You know, maybe this front one will come off, maybe this one. Let me have a look at it. I think this one has to come off because it's on the inside of a curve kind of here. Like that. Just taking the tips off those branches. It'll encourage some more branching in that area. Well, there it is. It's very light in the upper canopy. I'm still a little dense on this branch over here. There's a look at the tree. So yeah, I'm still quite dense over here. I think there's one on the inside I'll take out here. And I think I've got too many branches growing in one area here. A little straight this. I think I could take the tip off. You know, there's quite a long straight section to this branch. So if I could reduce it back, I think it would look better. Just to where? Thinking I have to go quite far back. I think I'll take the tip off for now. I may reduce it back further later on, but this is a good start, getting that tip off. And then maybe I'll decide to reduce it back further later on. Or do I do it now? I do it now. I'm going to take it right back to here. Like that. That reduces that long straight section back to something quite reasonable that matches all the rest of the branches. And that's what you want to do in a bonsai. You don't want one branch in one style, like very stiff and angular, and another branch very curvy and flowing. You want all parts of the tree to look in harmony and a similar style, so it looks natural. It looks like it was always grown that way, or the way nature, the natural way the tree grew. It's not to look artificial. Okay, I'm going to stand back and have a good look at the tree now. Here's a look at the tree from the front view, and it's definitely looks a little naked at the moment. You know, you take this lush, full, kind of nice looking tree, and I'm taking it back. I'm trying to get a basic core branch structure, and it's getting there. It's not 100% there yet, but it's getting closer. I resolved a lot of flaws in the tree today, or areas of the tree that would just get worse and worse in the future. And it's not easy to do, you know, taking out branches, taking this lush canopy and reducing it down to like almost nothing. The tree looks quite miserable right now, but you've got to think of the future, getting that core structure correct before you start doing all this branch work out further in the canopies and developing this beautiful canopy on it. If you don't have that core structure, then you're building on a flawed foundation, and you've got to get that basic branch structure really beautiful, and then you do all your detail work in the branches and the canopy. At least that's my philosophy. There's a look at all the branches and foliage I took off today. Quite a bit, quite dramatic. I think on this tree that, you know, you'll see the canopy filling out quite nicely in the future, and the tree will just start to look more and more miniature and more natural. That's my hope anyway. I don't want to grow it into a giant tree because it has a fairly naturally small leaf size. So I want to try and make it a miniature but very detailed tree, so everything on it looks just like you'd see in a full-size tree but in miniature. I'll rotate the tree around so you can see it from all angles. So here's the front. And we're coming over to the right-hand side. Coming around to the back. There's the back. Coming over to the left-hand side. And coming back to the front. So I think the tree looks quite nice from all angles. I don't think there's any particular view that it just looks terrible in. I think it's quite an attractive tree, and hopefully it'll just keep getting better. There'll be lots more work coming to this Willow Leaf Ficus, but first I've got to let it grow, get nice and bushy and recover, and then I'll go in and tackle the pruning once again. And that's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.